Chapter 4, creating a results orientation in a professional learning community. Chapter 5, establishing a focus on learning. And Chapter 7, responding when some students don't learn. By Kristen Herring for ED-LD 5673, Instructional Leadership Internship under Dr. Kimberly Wilkerson. SMART goals. They should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. The SMART goals that schools create should be created by professional learning communities, also known as PLCs, and leadership groups. SMART groups should align to the school and district goals centered around student achievement, and all efforts in the school should be motivated by those SMART goals. All members of the PLC or leadership team should be held responsible for doing their part to reach the group's goals, and the team should work together to provide accountability. SMART goals should begin by referencing the school's current performance. There is no proof that creating a strategic plan will lead to school improvement and increased achievement. Schools should set realistic goals as well as goals that are challenging. It's important that they take a risk with more challenging goals and set attainable goals that do push them with a challenge but do allow for success. This prevents a feeling of hopelessness. DeFore et al. 2016. Focusing on the results. It's important that you don't implement too many programs and that you ensure that all programs implemented will positively impact school achievement. School goals should point to the district goals, and PLC goals should point to the school goals. Everyone in the school should use similar goal setting form that has achievement as the anchor and details a plan of action for reaching the goal. PLC should provide evidence that they are working to achieve the goal. There should be provision of praise for accomplishments and successes. And there should be incorporation of goals that extend everyone's efforts and require more effort. When goals have been reached, there should be praise and new goals should be set, making sure that goals are about achievement. DeFore et al. 2016. A teacher's role. Learn what? What's the teacher's role versus the leader's role? Teachers should be able to explain what students are to learn in their class. Teachers who teach the same classes should all establish what students will learn together and then work to make sure students build that content, knowledge, and skills in their classes. And teachers should frequently assess and grow their knowledge of the students and set student objectives. A leader's role. They should provide standards to teachers, provide district curriculum. A leader should provide district-created vertical and horizontal alignment and provide access to the student data. They should provide rubrics or criteria that the district has already created and graded sample student work for teachers to review. They should also provide career readiness skills. DeFore et al. 2016. Creating a viable curriculum. It is imperative that teachers know what's expected for students to learn. Collaboration with administrators and PLC essential standards should be determined. They should ask the question, will the standard be needed after this class? And will this standard be used cross-curricular? Is this standard a prerequisite to the next level course? Does this student need to have this knowledge of the standard for success on summative assessments? What are the non-essential standards? Have an established process for determining standard importance. They should create learning targets for essential standards and I can statements so that students can take ownership of their learning. Teams need to create proficiency scales or competency charts that show a student's movement toward the learning targets. They should create a timeline for teaching and mastery of those learning targets. Teams should monitor and adjust as needed and execute their plan with devotion. DeFore et al. 2016. Effective schools create an environment where all students receive the time and resources needed to succeed through extended time and achievement-centered instruction. Responding when students are not learning. It's important to make the entire staff aware of the current reality of the school. Talk about the shared vision and ask each member of the team to take ownership. evaluating personal contributions to success, competency, and equitable practices. The team should work together to create systems and structures that meet the needs of struggling learners, extra support through interventions in time, development of student behaviors that are conducive to learning, and set non-negotiables for student success. Teachers cannot opt out of the system of success, which includes collaborative groups that design and assess instructional practices and student achievement. Expected outcomes of the interventions. Every learner will receive grade level instruction. Extended time and resources will be provided for students who need it for mastery. Students who are below grade level at the beginning of the year will be identified and provided rigorous interventions, and every effort will be made to move students toward achievement. Master schedules will be created to support achievement and address the need for interventions and opportunities. Teachers will be required to offer interventions, and students will be required to participate in those interventions. Administrators will need to evaluate how resources are being used and ensure that they are being used to increase achievement. DeFore et al. 2016. Ensuring interventions and extensions are in place to move students. It's important that you don't skip out on answering the PLC questions each time you're together. The school should focus on student learning, not teaching. Scheduling can be changed if it's deemed necessary for achievement to improve. Special education has not been inclusive and has proven to have failed students. So we need to allow SPED students the same opportunity to learn and grow as others. Lead teachers to focus on what they can impact and away from the areas they cannot. Leaders and teachers have to take ownership when students are not achieving and teach students to take ownership as well. Find ways to intervene. Don't keep doing the same things over and over again if it's obviously not working. Students will never learn if grading policies don't align to allow students to retake or turn in work once they understand. So changing grading policies is important to allow students to succeed. Ineffective teaching has to be recognized and addressed. Don't sell students short. Students who recognize that they need further assistance get it, but what about the ones who choose not to ask for help? Leaders need to push teachers to answer the question, how will we get every student to learn? DeFore et al. 2018. Professional standards for educational leaders. I found 4 standards that aligned to this chapter. PSEL Standard 1, administrators will lead in a shared mission, vision, and core values that leads to learning and achievement of all students. PSEL Standard 3 says administrators will effectively ensure equity for all students, providing access to quality educators and an opportunity to succeed. PSEL Standard 4, administrators will ensure systems are in place that are challenging with expectation that all the students are able to learn. And PSEL Standard 7, administrators will create a collaborative environment where educators work together to raise achievement for all students. NPVEA 2015.